This video is going to be on how to change an exponential equation into an exponential equation with a base of e. The reason that we'd like to do this is because when we have a base of e, then we can look at rates and we can look at growth factors, and it's a little hard to do that when we simply look at it as a b to the x power. So a little bit of understanding about this. Remember, a is our initial value, or where it crosses on the y-axis, and b is our growth rate. And remember, if b is greater than 1, then it will be growth, and if b is between 0 and 1, it will be decay. And then, of course, x is our exponent to show it's exponential. So if we'd like to have this with a base of e, then we're going to take the natural log of both sides to get started. And please notice that I'm dropping the a for right now. And the reason that I'm dropping the a for right now is a can be any number. And so we're not concerned with that. We're concerned with just the basic function where maybe a is at 1. So we're going to look at this function where we have the natural log of y equals the natural log of b raised to the x power, where our power rule tells us that any exponents really become coefficients. Then we now have the natural log of y equals x times the natural log of b. So now when we look at this equation, we don't want our natural log to be on the y, we simply want it to still say y. So to get rid of the natural log, we're going to take the inverse of each, and remember what we had is now a power. So anytime e and natural log are next to each other, they cancel out, and now we have y equals e raised to the x times the natural log of b power. So now we can see that we had an original equation of y equals b to the x, and now we've transformed this into y equals e raised to the x times b, natural log of b power. This tells us that if y equals both of these things, that b of x really equals e raised to the natural log of b times x power. So we can see that this is how it would be transformed. So if we'd like to look at this in a separate way, maybe as an equation, let's say that this time we have g of x equals 2.5 times 1.03 to the x power. And we would like to change this to a base of e. So when we want to change it to a base of e, we're going to keep our g of x, and we're going to keep our a, and then we're going to transform this. So let's go back and look, and we know that we want it to say e and the x natural log of b. So we're going to write that on our paper. So down here we have b to the x equals e raised to the x times the natural log of b power. So we know that the 1.03 is our b, and then of course we have x. So now we're going to have 2.5 times e raised to the x power, which x still stays the same, times the natural log of 1.03. Now we can simplify this one more step and find out what the natural log of 1.03 is. So I'm going to use my calculator right quick, and I get 0.03. So we now have g of x equals 2.5 times e raised to the 0.03 x power. So the natural log and the value that comes behind it will always be simplified, and you'll be left with an equation that looks similar to this.